It was a quiet evening at the Amstetten Hospital when a frail young woman was rushed into the emergency ward. Her name was Kirsten, 19 years old. But her body told another story. Pale skin stretched over fragile bones, malnourished, weak, her eyes wide with fear. She had no medical history, no school records, no past. She was in every way a ghost. The doctor leaned closer, studying her trembling hands, her erratic breathing. Something wasn't right. This wasn't just an illness. This girl carried the weight of a secret too heavy for someone her age. And then it happened. As the doctor placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, Kirsten broke. Tears streamed down her face. Her body convulsed in sobs she could no longer control. She clung to him desperately, as though her life depended on it. "Please help us," she said. The words pierced the room like a knife. Us. Not me. The doctor's suspicion turned to dread. Who was us? Where had this girl come from? And why did her fear feel so much deeper than illness? This was the moment the secret of the basement began to unravel. In the heart of Austria, behind the facade of an ordinary family home, there lay a secret too dark to imagine. For 24 years, a daughter vanished without a trace. The world believed she had run away. But beneath the floorboards, locked away in a soundproof cellar, she was living a nightmare crafted by the man who should have protected her, her father. To his neighbors in the quiet town of Amstetten, Joseph Fritzl seemed like a respectable man. Born in 1935, he had grown up in post-war Austria, strict, ambitious, always craving control. He studied engineering, married Rosemary, and fathered 7 children. To outsiders, he was ordinary. A family man. A provider. But behind that carefully built mask lay something sinister. For years he had been planning. In secret, Joseph constructed a basement beneath his home. Not an ordinary storage cellar, but a fortress, reinforced walls, hidden doors, soundproof passages. A prison disguised as an everyday basement. On the 28th of August, 1984, his plan was complete. That day his daughter Elizabeth, just 18 years old, vanished. Joseph told his wife and the police that she had joined a cult. He even produced a letter, supposedly written by Elizabeth herself, begging her family not to search for her. Authorities accepted the story. Her mother believed she had run away. The case was closed. But Elizabeth was not gone. She was right beneath their feet, locked in the cellar her father had built. The heavy door sealed shut behind her, and her world shrank to a concrete tomb. Darkness became her companion. Silence pressed in from every wall. Her cries went unheard. The air down there was damp, heavy with mildew. Narrow rooms connected like veins in a labyrinth. No windows. No sunlight. No escape. Joseph visited her often, bringing food and supplies. But he also brought something far more sinister. His obsession, his control, his abuse. What began as imprisonment became decades of horror. Days bled into weeks. Weeks into years. And then came the children. Between 1988 and 2008, Elizabeth gave birth to 7 children. Every one of them fathered by Joseph. The basement, already a prison, became a nursery. 3 of the children remained underground with her, never once seeing the outside world. 3 others were carried upstairs by Joseph, left at the doorstep with forged notes claiming Elizabeth had sent them from her supposed cult. The 7th child, an infant, died shortly after birth. Joseph burned the tiny body in a furnace, erasing all traces of its existence. Imagine raising children in total confinement, teaching them to walk in corridors no wider than a hallway, telling them stories of sunlight they could never touch. For the little ones below, the basement was the only universe they knew. Their childhoods stolen before they began. Upstairs, life appeared normal. Joseph dined with his wife. He hosted family gatherings. He smiled politely at neighbors. Rosemary, Elizabeth's mother, believed her husband's story. She raised the upstairs children, never questioning how they appeared or why her daughter remained silent. Joseph lived a double life, family man above, monster below. But even monsters make mistakes. In April 2008, after 24 years of captivity, the secret began to fracture. Elizabeth's eldest daughter, Kirsten, now 19, fell gravely ill. She collapsed, her body malnourished and weak. She needed urgent medical attention. Joseph had no choice. He carried her out of the basement, into the daylight she had never seen, and brought her to a hospital. Doctors were baffled. The girl was pale, fragile, with no medical history. Who was she? Where had she come from? Joseph spun his story, claiming Elizabeth had sent Kirsten from her cult. But his words didn't add up. Suspicion grew. Authorities became involved. The pressure mounted, and Elizabeth, terrified but desperate, begged her father to release her. Finally he relented. After 2.5 decades underground, she and her surviving children emerged from the basement. Sunlight blinded them. Fresh air stung their lungs. The world they stepped into was alien. At the police station, Elizabeth revealed the unthinkable truth. 24 years. 7 children. Abuse, imprisonment, manipulation. A nightmare beneath an ordinary home. The revelation shocked not only Austria, but the entire world. Headlines screamed, "The Monster of Emstetten." In March 2009, Joseph Fritzl stood trial. The charges: rape, incest, kidnapping, false imprisonment, murder by negligence. The evidence was undeniable. Elizabeth herself testified, her words heavy with the weight of decades lost. The jury's verdict was clear: guilty. Joseph was sentenced to life imprisonment in a psychiatric facility, never to walk free again. Justice had arrived. But justice could not erase 24 years of torment. For Elizabeth and her children, healing would take a lifetime. Therapy, rehabilitation, learning to live beyond the walls of a cellar that had once been their entire existence. To feel the sun, to walk freely, to breathe without fear. The case left the world stunned. It became one of the most infamous crimes in modern history. A chilling reminder that evil can live behind the most ordinary doors. That sometimes, the most monstrous of men are not strangers in the shadows, but those closest to us. Today, Elizabeth and her children live in seclusion, shielded from the world's gaze, trying to build a future beyond the horrors of their past. They carry scars invisible to the eye, but undeniable in weight. And the house in Emstetten? It still stands, ordinary to passers-by, yet forever haunted by the silence of the basement below. The world will remember the Fritzl case as a story of cruelty, but also of survival. A reminder that even in the deepest darkness, there are those who endure.